Mr. Womack. We're going to be doing the
Hello, Mr. Womack. We're going to be doing the text-based Socratic seminar.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have our questions beforehand, and we're going to start the Socratic seminar. Okay. I'll lead a question. We'll start with a question about... we'll start a question about religion. We'll start it with religion. Okay. So do you think William Shakespeare used religion in As You Like It because he was a Christian or because he wanted it to appeal to the audience?
I personally think he wanted it to appeal to the audience because during the time he wrote this play was during the Renaissance ages, and everyone was basically Catholic. It was huge being Catholic, and anything else was kind of banished. So I feel like if you were to use any other religion, he probably would have gotten as much views as he did get during that time period. So.
I think that he definitely wanted it to appeal to the audience, and I think I don't know exactly where it is, but an example of where he that he definitely wrote the whole thing to please an audience is when I think it's Touchstone talks about how the world is it Jack or someone talks about how the world is a stage or whatever.
Oh, John. I think that was John.
Yeah, and how he applied what people believed in the real world to his stage, and I think that so he definitely he could have been Christian, but I don't think he wrote Christianity into it because he was.
And this correlates to a lot of the times that in his plays, and not only this one, all of his plays, that God is mentioned a lot. Romeo and Juliet, they'd be don't let the stars fight you or something, and then it was just by the name of God or something. Yeah.
This was written in France, right? This
setting is in France.
Yeah, so especially that
Yeah.
They were definitely Catholics.
They were definitely Christian, and they were all
Yeah.
So about this, going off of this Shakespeare's portrayal and definitions, how could we're gonna shift to how about women with religion? How could his portrayal of women be significant to the play, and how was it influenced by the religion at the time?
So you're asking how was women portrayed in the play?
Yeah, women portrayed in the play by Shakespeare.
In this play, surprisingly, women weren't actually beneath men. Surprisingly, I felt Rosalind kind of had a lot of leverage that most characters probably would have, and though she got banished, she had she kind of, in a way, she kind of sort of did kind of control Orlando, and she knew what his emotions were, so she used it to her advantage, basically. So that's just what I think.
Yeah, and this could also relate to how Christianity was at the time. It was just initially it was just we were learning in world history as well, right? It's just women were the ones that were leading the thing, but then afterwards it was men took over. But then it took a little centuries, and then it was okay, well, just everyone can do everything, right? So his views on women and men were aside from the common norms of the time, so relating with religion or the culture of this time.
Yeah, and if you look at all of his other plays, this one, even Rosamund, she has more power over Orlando than most of the other characters. So women are portrayed more, more powerful than men in this, because if you look at Sylvius and Phoebe, he begs for her love, so she's the upper.
I agree, but I also disagree because she wasn't really that strong woman until she became a man, and I think he purposely did that. I think he purposely made it to where they were not capable of doing anything on their own until she was a man. She was not capable of taking control of him, even talking to him, until she became a man. And I think he definitely used that to kind of represent that men had more power, and that she couldn't really do the things that she did in the play if she hadn't actually been a man for most of it.
I actually do kind of agree with you on that, actually, surprisingly. It is true. I feel as soon as she became Ganymede, she got she did get a lot more power, and she was able to talk back to him and kind of sass him in some ways. But if she were to be a female, I don't think it would have worked the same.
Yeah, their relationship wouldn't have been the same. And because she's the one who dressed up as a man, and Celia became Aliena, right? poor woman, right? And they all traveled with Touchstone. And it was like more attention was put on the woman, right, Aliena, because she was like the one that was like weaker in need of food and shelter. But they were both women, right? So, and constantly Celia is whenever like Rosalind is just like I want to cry or like I'm so tired, and they would be like, no, you can't be like that because I mean you're a man, like you can't do that.
Oh yeah, that did.
Right?
And I think he definitely purposely made it to where Celia stayed a woman because she was kind of seen as like not that like her servant, but she kind of acted like it, and he purposely kept her as a girl and made Rosaline, who was more in control, as a man.
And she is the heroine of the play.
Yeah, she had more confidence when she became a man than when she was a woman.
So and this also correlates to like how love went. Like Orlando is his lover is Rosalind. It's not the other way around. Like Rosalind's lover isn't Orlando. So apparently with this love, so how would his and talking about Shakespeare. So what could have Shakespeare meant by his portrayal of love throughout the play? Like what about like think of like Rosalind and Orlando's like relationship and love in contrast to Sylvia's and Phoebe's, and even like in contrast to Oliver's and Celia's, which is like very different. Different. Like what could have Shakespeare meant by love? Like this is very controversial, right? He could have meant a lot of things by what he said about love, what he portrayed through the love.
I think that when he purposely made like 3 different types of couples, he was talking about 3 different types of love. There's either the love where you take your time and you get to know someone, or there's a love where you just do it because it's convenient, or there's a love where you just love at first sight, and like that's the 3 different types of love that he sees in his life, and he has seen maybe even in himself. That's the 3 ways he has been in love, something like that. Like I feel like that could totally like they're complete opposites of the way that all of them fall in love. Yes, they all act on like impulse, but the way they act on impulse is different.
And that's Sylvia's and Phoebe's, right? So Phoebe's like just like Sylvia's blah, and then, oh my gosh, I saw Ganymede, I'm in love with him now. But then as soon as Ganymede turned into Rosaline, she's like, oh okay, might as well go with Sylvia's because I have to get married. She's like, I just have to get married. Exactly, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's also kind of relates to my question also. I said, because like in the time age also, Renaissance that I learned in world history, marriage was also a really big thing. Like marriage was big, especially if you were royalty. Like getting married meant that you could
joining the bloodlines, making stronger empires.
And so you can keep the royalty basically in the blood. So I felt like in the play, it was less of love and more of infatuation or just pure attraction, or honestly just kids in general. Like I feel like it was either like for Phoebe, I feel like she either just got married just to get married, just to get married basically, just so she can say she has a husband, or just to have kids. Because I feel like it was like the love wasn't really true. She just kind of had no other option. Like no one else was really there for her to marry. Basically.
And speaking of this, like marrying into bloodlines, can you see the significance? Okay, so Rosalind just conveniently falls in love with Orlando, but think about their fathers.
Yeah.
Rosalind's father is Duke Senior, the rightful heir to the French government, French throne, and Orlando is conveniently one of his friends, who is Sir Rowland, and a very, very important figure in politics, right, in that time. So it's just like that conveniently happened.
And even Celia, when she asked like Rosalind, like why are you all of a sudden like in love with him? And she was like, because our fathers knew each other, stuff like that basically. So it's just kind of like it was like she was kind of like, well, if you're royalty and I'm royalty, why not just keep it in?
I think I think because Shakespeare, wasn't it that he got his girlfriend pregnant and that's why they got married, right?
It is.
That's why they got married. They got pregnant before they got
I
married.
thought they got pregnant after. I don't know.
Well, maybe she
That's
was pregnant.
that's
when
what
they got
I'm
married.
pretty sure.
Oh yeah, because the thing is, like after they got married, like a couple months after she had the baby. So probably
That's why. And I think like what I saw when I was reading it was that he somehow in every single one of these marriages put in something with like almost being forced to be married or being set up to marry, like none of them had a choice kind of thing, like it was like predetermined. And I think he probably felt like that because he had to marry he had to marry Anne because he didn't have another choice because she was pregnant. And I think he definitely wrote that into
Back then,
this
that was like a sickness you could not have.
That was like really taboo, right?
Yeah.
Like
Now
how
it's
marriage
like
was like the
different.
most important thing.
Yeah.
And like how Touchstone and Audrey, they were just like sexually attractive. That's why they wanted to get married.
Yeah.
Not because they actually loved each other.
Yeah, I think that, and then like right after she had the twins, he like left her, and I think that like he kind of like wrote in his feelings into these different marriages, kind of like they were all forced into it. Who knows if they're actually going to stay?
Yeah. Like, because the ending just kind of like it's
One
just
big
like-
marriage.
Yeah.
One big
Kind of like a
love.
cliffhanger.
Like,
You don't
only-
really like know what's gonna happen after.
Yeah, like the only true love is like you can see Orlando and Rosalind, but the others are just like because you have to get married, not because they want to. They're just mostly forced to.
I feel like. Sorry, you can go.
No, I just said yes.
Okay, I feel like Oliver only got married because he saw his brother getting married, and I feel like he felt like he was kind of out of place.
Yeah.
Because his and Celia's love was kind of like random, like it
was.
happened out of nowhere. It was just random. He was like, I'm in love with her. I want to get married, and Orlando was like, what? Like legit met her like a second ago. Like, what are you talking about?
So this is like a lot with like infatuation and the difference between infatuation and love, right? Throughout the story, we can see the infatuation. Was there any type of love? Can you back that up if there was any type of love? Like flipping the coin. Could you back that up? There was some love.
I mean, yes and no. I feel like maybe he only loved Rosalind and Orlando. I mean,
Why?
that really, honestly, really wasn't even that big of love either. But
It's
I
just we
mean-
were talking about infatuation. I want to see what you guys thought about the love side of it.
I mean, love side, I guess the whole like thing of like going through the whole process of trying to talk to him through a mail and stuff like that. I feel like she went through a lot compared to everyone else, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they had more time to get to know each other than the others.
Yeah.
Like everyone else's marriage was just like based. It wasn't like the true love wasn't the reason they got married.
I feel like Oliver wanted to one up his brother, and that's probably one of the reasons why he got married. Because
Yeah, like, I just caught a really good thing. Okay, Oliver is just like, he was like the one that's, I never loved my brother, and he went into the forest, and Orlando's just like, should I save him, should I not? But he eventually saved him, right? But I think some of those like jealous traits kind of stayed with him. And then I just thought of the phrase, a tiger can't change his stripes, and I'm just like, oh my god, a tiger is about to pounce on him. I don't think that's related in any way, but it's just like, I just
that's what I'm saying. I feel like, even though they got closer, that jealousy is still there, and he wanted to one up his brother because everyone started to love his brother again, and he was just kind of like on the side. You know what I mean?
I don't think there was any love between couples. I think there was love between family members.
Yes, because
And
love
I think-
doesn't really exist with it.
And I think that's why it was, I think he purposely did that because he was, like, he had feelings for his children. Like, he was in love with his children, but he was never in love with his wife. He was willing to leave her to go just pursue a career he didn't even know if it was going to work out because he was so unhappy. And I think, like, you could definitely see love between all the different family members in the end, and how sometimes, even though you have, like, problems, and even though, like, things happen, like, you have to love each other at the end, because family is, like, forever. You know, as cringy as that sounds, like,
Blood is thicker than water.
and, like, how, like, the couples are just, like, they're never going to be as important as family. You're never going to be as in love with them as
And you can see, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, I'll make this one comparison. You can see, like, that Rosalind and Celia's love for each other, right? They're cousins, but they're, like, best friends.
Yeah.
They have a bond that's stronger than Rosalind and Orlando could have ever had, right? They will always be stuck together. Sorry. Oh, you were? I'm sorry. Okay, how about talking with Rosalind? How about, could you, what characters could be the heroine, like, except Rosalind? Like, what character could be the heroine or hero or heroine?
I think Celia.
I think Orlando.
Okay. Oh, okay. Why Celia and why Orlando?
I think Celia because throughout the play, like, Rosalind's always, like, second guessing herself, or like when she got banished, she had no idea what to do. Like, she was hopeless.
Yeah, Celia.
Like, she had, and Celia, like, went
Celia's
in.
the brains.
Like, Celia went in and, like, knew exactly what they had to do and helped her make sure that the guy she was in love, like she made everything in the play happen. Nothing would have happened without Celia. And
Suggesting that they go to the forest.
and she pretty much like she would let Rosalind make it think that it was her idea. Like Rosalind kept thinking it was her ideas, but it was really just Celia like giving them to her. And so like, yeah, Rosalind is a heroine, but so is Celia. Like, 'cause Celia is the one that made everything Rosalind do happen. So that's what
I feel like Orlando was also that's because I don't know. I feel like he went through a lot during the book. Like
I think he did too. His father recently got banished. His
father
brother
got
doesn't love
banished.
him, and his other brother is
Yeah.
gone.
his brother doesn't love him. His brother didn't want to give him an education. He
Yeah.
got banished from. Or basically, he was about to get killed by his own brother, but his brother went to light his house on fire, and
he didn't really have like any close people. Only thing was Adam, but that was like a complete surprise.
yeah, and Adam was old, and Adam was
Yeah.
on the verge of like dying. So
And
it's
it was
kinda like
yeah.
he was like the only. He went through so much, and he still had to
did.
struggle to get through. You know?
It's just like his one chance with that love was Rosalind, and he's
Yeah.
just like, I mean, what else? What is there to
Yeah,
live
what else is there to
for?
live for? Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so how about going
Wait,
back to
Tonica, did you have any?
oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I think Shakespeare kind of uses Celia as like a mirror to reflect Rosalind's emotions and everything throughout the play.
How does that reflect her emotions?
Like most of like what you said, she most of the time makes the decisions and nothing good happens without her.
She's kind of also speaking of the mirror. That could also reflect. She's kind of living in her shadow. It's like it's like the Rosalind show. It's like she steals the show. She falls in love first. Celia just gets stuck with Oliver, right?
She's like the backup dancer.
And that also relates to like the family thing, that even though maybe you're not the most important one, like just because they're happy, you don't care if you get the credit for what it is and stuff.
That's the same way Orlando was, yeah, because he was the backup also, because he wasn't ever really gonna get the throne, because his brother was number one in life, and he still had kids, so Orlando's kind of like the backup, you know what I mean? He's kind of at the back of Celia.
So speaking about Rosalind, I kind of have my own not issues because the thing of she's like considered the heroine, right? Because she's the main character of the play. Usually they're the heroine or the protagonist. So, but there are like two sides to her. It's like she did good stuff, right? But could you like prove that her heroism is legitimate? Like, is it actually legitimate, or does people just think it is because she's the main character of the play? You have strong opinions. Let's go.
It's not legitimate. I don't think her heroism is legitimate at all. Because nothing she ever did was her idea.
I mean,
nothing
she fell in
ever.
Orlando, but that was
That was really her own.
and it was Celia that headed the
Her
conversation.
only the only thing she actually did in the play that was her idea was fall in love.
No, and she also thought about dressing up as Ganymede.
But like Celia,
But that
like,
wouldn't happen if Celia did that. If Celia,
She
So, like,
like been all by herself, if Celia really didn't go with her, she'd be stuck in the forest.
if Celia hadn't been a character in the play would not have played out the way that it did.
Yeah.
She would have probably like
she's
She
the
was
one
the
who
glue.
suggested they found you the food and shelter. That got way to the house, the cottage. That gave way to Orlando meeting Rosalind at the cottage to rendezvous, and it's just like everything would be out.
Yeah, I agree. I really don't think she had much purpose in the book. I feel like it was just the Rosalind show for no reason. All she really did was just fall in love. Other than that, she really had no other purpose. Really.
Honestly, if he wrote it from like Celia's point of view, she would be like probably like screaming, and she's like, yeah, like,
Yeah, if there was like another like point of view in like Celia's book, I don't feel actually really interesting to see.
yeah,
how she
that
does.
would. If it's like modern,
she's always in the background. She was the last one to find love.
Yeah, and that was the reason why her dad banished Rosalind, because she was taking up all the spotlight from his daughter, but she ended up just following him along.
I mean, he was right.
Yeah, he was.
But yeah. What about you? Do you have anything to say?
Celia was like like you said, the brains of the
brains. So yeah, the Rosalind's the heart, and Celia's the brains. Celia keeps her with one foot on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Because or else Rosalind will be like gone and lost forever. And Celia would be like, get down here, focus.
Okay.
So we're talking about Rosalind, right? So we're gonna take another question from Haley.
Good questions, not gonna lie.
So what change do you see in Rosalind as the play progresses? Does she change at all? Like, was it positive, or was it for the better or for the worst?
I feel like she's very, what's that word? Where like the character doesn't really change.
Stagnant? She stays very stagnant throughout the play?
So it's just
Okay.
a specific phrase trying to look for, but I guess yeah. I feel like she really doesn't change in the whole book. I feel like she still thinks with her heart, not really with her head. She kind of acts on impulse and stuff like that.
So these could like cloud her judgment as well, right?
Yeah.
So how could the good and bad characters, everyone's personality, drive the play, right? Some people could have changed. Some people, so how did these like drive the play? Like what about? So how did Oliver's traits drive the play? Like how did Oliver change?
Well, he was like the bad guy, and then they made Orlando and Oliver. I mean, I think the only reason he was
No, say it. It's fine.
no someone else.
I think Rosalind, I mean, I don't think she herself changed, but when she changed into Ganymede was a different person. Like, she was very different as Ganymede. She wasn't the same. She was still, like, mentally unstable, but she was different. And, like, I think all of the characters, like, I feel like the only character that really was, like, sane from the beginning would either be, like, Celia or Orlando. Like, I feel like those two characters had it figured out from the beginning. Like, why are we all fighting? Like, there's no reason for us to be, like, having these problems. And throughout their actions change what everyone thinks, and everyone ends up changing their opinions on everything. You know, like, Duke Frederick decides to just give up being the Duke to be a monk, and, like, that's only because of what Orlando and stuff and Celia pulled off.
Okay, so how about we change gears to another question? I want to know what you guys think about this because I was like thinking about this when I was writing this question. This is about fool and the wise. Well, who is an example of a fool in the play, and how could the traits wise and being a foolish be interchangeable?
Fool definitely Touchstone, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like there's a thin line between smart and dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Touchstone had his smart moments and he had his like moments where it's kind of like, okay, come on, Touchstone, you're being stupid.
He says wise things, but he's considered a fool because he says jokes all the time. So
Exactly.
we honestly didn't get as we read the play, right?
I think the reason he's labeled a fool instead of wise is because he's different from everyone else.
Oh, this could relate to how the traits of being wise and fool impact society's view. Like,
Yeah, and like how like sometimes like people like this isn't. I mean, Shakespeare. A lot of the things he did were not appreciated. Like, they were not appreciated like at all. No one could appreciate it at that time. And I think that like sometimes the fool in the play is actually one of the smarter characters, but because they're so like ahead of their time, they're so just different from everyone else, they're seen as like dumb.
I feel like that kind of relates to I feel like that kind of relates to like nowadays also. Like how some people can be street smart but not like
academic wise,
yeah. And I feel like how like you know how there's like some class clouds and stuff like that. Now people just most of the time expect them to be like dumb because they make a lot of jokes, but they can actually go home and study and actually get good grades. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's the same way how like.
And yeah, this was always like labeled as wise and a fool like throughout society. That it's happening in modern times. Like you're like, oh my gosh, she's just so like foolish, or she's just
Like,
so
you'd rather be a fool than be different from everyone else?
yeah, that could work.
And like, what was I gonna say? Hold on. Oh, you're always gonna be considered a fool in something. Like, you're never gonna be good at every single thing. And I think Touchstone just got labeled fool because some of the things that he was judged for weren't the things that they paid attention to. Like, they paid attention to the things he did that were like weird, like his jokes, and they didn't focus on the fact that there was a point to them. And like, I feel like Shakespeare may have like felt that. Like, I feel like this whole play is just like reflecting his feelings, how like maybe just people didn't understand what he was writing about and just took it as, oh, it's just another play, but really there was like deep meaning behind each and every. There is not a line in his plays that isn't meaningful.
Yeah, that you can read between the lines. So this you can see that the fool fool and a wise person, they can be interchangeable. Like you can be a fool, but like often you say wise things as touchstone. But you could be wise and say foolish things that people don't agree with. So society's views on something could label what is foolish and what is wise, who is a fool and what is wise.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
I said, why do you think family rivalries are so common in the play? And I said, did it have something to do with Shakespeare's home life?
Yeah, we can see family rivalries, Macbeth, Hamlet, Romeo and Juliet, this play. Literally, in every single play you can find some sort of family rivalry or something.
That's because family was his biggest problem.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to marry someone because he got her pregnant. He had kids, and then one of them died. Like he couldn't have a career and have family. Like wasn't it something like he had problems with like his dad or something? I don't know. Like he had a lot of family issues, and that definitely I think would reflect his home life.
Yeah, and his plays are kind of like a window into his life. He's kind of, I think you could treat them as diaries, kind of like he doesn't want to directly say the feelings, right? He portrays them through his book, through his plays, and you just have to take the time to read it and analyze it to find out that he's writing this. Do you have anything?
Yeah, basically the same thing. His like everything that happened in his family is what reflects into all of his plays.
Okay. Yeah.
So I want to ask a question. My question is, what do you think Shakespeare intended for watchers to take from the play? And do you think he purposely named it As You Like It because he had no exact intent? Or do you think that As You Like It had, like, that he had an intent with it?
I feel like As You Like It, the name is to be like, take it how you take it, basically. Like you take, whatever you take out of it, whatever you take out of it. He didn't really have like a theme. He's kind of had like a, whatever morals you get out of this play, then that's what you kind of have.
We to address this in our video as well. It's just like you've been every single person who reads like any of his plays is reading it. Everyone has their own lens, their own filter that they see stuff in. They see the world in. They have their own opinions in. And you could read this book through a feminist lens, and you can see, oh, this thing is the women and men are treated very differently, and that you could get riled up about that. Or you could read it through like a intellectual lens and see like the smart things about it and who is the wise and who is the fool. It's just, yeah.
Oh no, I'm just saying that there is like no right or wrong. You can take it however you want to. There is no right or wrong.
Do you think there was anything, sorry, I have another question. Do you think there was, that he wrote this play hoping that someone would understand some of his feelings? Do you think like he hoped that when he wrote a
call
thing,
out, more like,
kind of like a call for help, like I'm having these problems, and he hoped that someone would notice them reading his
And
plays?
address them,
Do you
right?
think anyone, like that was
Yeah,
his
this
purpose?
relates
or?
to how he wrote these plays on family rivalries. They kind of reflect his own emotions, reflect what he was going through, and he's just like, don't make the same mistakes as I did, or don't do the same things that I did in the way that I did, or else it might lead to conflict and
Yeah.
further. Yeah.
Can that relate to one of his plays, Hamlet? Wasn't that on when his child
When his-
died?
yeah, when his
so it's
child
also, I guess, so that also shows you that he does use his plays for like a cry for help or like a diary, more like to explain or to see how, you know, he's seeing through his lens, basically.
And I don't know when this play was written. I don't know if it was after his son died, but something that I really thought was interesting was that I felt like he felt guilty because he hadn't been home and his son died, and that I felt like that was kind of like how he made Orlando feel neglected from his brother, and how his brother literally just kind of like said, oh, well, you can't be, like, you're like done, like I don't want anything to do with you anymore, I don't want like nothing. And I think if this was written after his son died, like that could have been like representing his guilt, and that when they made up, like that's what he wished he could do with his son, but
And Sir Rowland's relationship with his son, right? And the two girls that were left after that, when the son died, could be Celia and Rosaline. They will always have each other. They will always have someone to look up to. Yeah. Oh, one main thing, I just realized there is no presence of mothers throughout this play. Is there? Do you just realize that?
I noticed it, and I thought it was really interesting, and I thought it has something to do with the fact that like always felt like he was supposed to be like kind of like that he should have been the focus. Like the father should be more important.
Yeah.
Like should be important like a mother. They should be able to be taken. Like a father should be as loving and as caring as a mother kind of thing. Like we don't need mothers. We have fathers too, and like how like he knows that if he kind of like if he could go back and change it, he would be a mother, like a father to his children.
It's like guilt.
I feel like I mean, if this was written after his son died, I definitely think that there's a lot of like guilt in here. And then he wrote like you said, like Rosaline and Celia, like he had 2 daughters, and they were still alive.
And this fatherly bond can also be seen. We don't really see like really things until the end, right? Rosaline gets married to Orlando, and he's just like, "Oh my God, my baby's like married. I'm so sorry I left you," kind of thing, right? Like he's just like, "This is my daughter. I love her."
Kind of like he's never gonna get to see his son get married because he's gone.
Okay, sorry, I have another question. I said during the Renaissance, marriage was expected. So in the play, was the bond between the couples love or infatuation?
Both. I mean, it depends on which couple. But more, they were all driven by infatuation, that love at first sight.
And this is a lead-in kind of to it. I said, did Shakespeare and Anne get to know one another, or was it like his famous play Romeo and Juliet, and it was their connection instant?
I mean, if and like yes, that Shakespeare actually did get like his wife Anne pregnant before. That might have happened out of infatuation, right? Just thinking about how a lot of times have this kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And but I mean, I guess he might have tried to like love her if he's gonna build a life with her, but then he like left, right, to pursue his career. So it could be a little bit of both.
But I don't know. I feel like he had a lot of attraction to her because he had more than one kid with her.
True that.
So if you already had the first kid and you don't really like her that much, you're not gonna have another kid because you don't want to be with her.
There's a lot
So
of
I feel
attraction.
like,
I definitely think that that's true, and I think that's why he made a lot of the couples in this play based off of pure infatuation. That like his relationship with Anne was just pure infatuation, and like sometimes that's okay. Like sometimes that's all you can do. Sometimes you're never gonna be able to love someone.
And speaking of infatuation, I kind of want to back like the infatuation up, not like seriously, but you can't like build anything on it if there is no spark. You can gradually get to love someone, but I mean these plays, there is a spark between the couples. Like there is some attraction, but they don't spend enough time getting to know one another and fully loving each other. But there is kind of like a spark, like, oh my gosh, I like him, or like I have a crush on her, or whatever.
So would you think that Audrey and Curtisstone is like they relate to like how they're sexually attracted, and like you guys definitely like are sexually attracted to your wife, so does that relate to them?
Yeah.
And remember, okay, I find this interesting. Remember that Audrey had like a lover guy? It was just really weird.
Oh, the other guy.
There was just like another guy. That could have, Anne could have had like an ex-boyfriend. Maybe she did.
I thought we talked about the fact that she was supposed to marry someone else and then she got pregnant.
She was supposed to marry someone else.
That's why I thought we talked about that. I felt like that was.
I don't know.
Well,
he wouldn't just put a random guy in it if all of
there's
those other
couples
did like that, right?
Definitely.
So there could be some significance. We just don't know the difference.
maybe he had to fight for her in a way,
Yeah.
but then maybe it just didn't work out.
She just realized she was pregnant and had to get it.
Okay, next question.
Yes.
Tanka, do you want to say one of your questions?
Okay, why do you think Duke Sr. wanted to return to court after mentioning his pastoral life in the art? What?
No, I was.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That is a good. That's what was like. Like that's an interesting question. Who wants to just say? Yeah.
Wow.
I guess. I mean, I'll answer whatever I know. I don't know. Like I guess it's mostly happened after everyone got married, right? And we know that the fourth door symbolizes the heaven, and then the hell is the government, right? Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so maybe Duke Senior, after they got married, it's just like they kind of grew up. They grew up after they get married, right? It's just like they kind of have to settle down, kind of thing. Maybe he realizes his duty, his responsibility now that his brother
Did he actually say he was going back? Or I thought he gave the kingdom to.
No, that was before. Duke Frederick gave the kingdom. Maybe he found like a newfound sense of like responsibility. Like
I thought he gave the kingdom to like Orlando or something. At the end.
okay, well, in any case, somebody's going back to rule French Turkey.
I think they're all going except for Jacques, who said that he's gonna be like a mom.
What? He married Audrey. No, Jacques.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess. Probably is.
So
He's meant for bigger and better things. I like Jacques. I don't know why. I like
depressed.
him. He kind of is. He's an iffy character.
Yeah,
Like,
Jack he's an odd man.
I think they probably just went back because like they know that that's their home, and that I think they always knew that like they could never stay in that like heaven. That heaven was not a permanent place for them. It was a temporary thing.
Like they have to go back to some.
Like they have to go back at some point.
actually, yeah, Jacques. So Duke Senior, I'm going to read the English. He says, "Stay, Jacques. Stay here for a bit. No, this fun is not for me. I'll wait for you in your cave where you can tell me what you need from me." So he's not really going.
Did you guys write all that?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Can you stand up there and like point to something for me?
All of us?
No, just one. And then
Wants to go?
Okay.
Haley?
Okay, psychopaths then.
Okay, so in the play, actually, it's Duke Senior says, "Stay, Jacques, stay here for a bit," and then Jacques says, "No, this fun is not for me. I'll wait for you in your cave where you can tell me where you need me, what you need me." So we don't exactly know if Jacques is going to be a monk, but the thing is, it's kind of weird. Okay, so they're just literally like partying and they're like raising the roof and they're having a good time because everyone just got married, and then the Duke, exactly. I mean, well, the Duke was already married, but the thing is, he's not a young guy. He was a fairly elderly, like the same level as Duke Senior, same age. True that.
And the only one.
He might have done. That was kind of weird, right? I mean, I would never pass up a good party online, just in my opinion. So it's just like he just like bolted after.
Wait, was the cave where the tiger was?
No. That he said the cave is not an actual cave. I think it means like your
Okay, but it is. He's going to
habitat.
commit suicide, man.
Oh. Okay.
No, but seriously, like he's going back to the cave where there's a tiger.
It's not a literal cave.
No, maybe
it's not a literal
maybe
cave.
it's like their kingdom or
His
court.
kingdom or court, yeah. It's not a literal cave.
It's not an actual
No, it's
The
okay.
poor man, he's the only one at the end of the play that doesn't find love.
Yeah, but like in the like from the
No,
beginning.
what about Adam? What about
Yeah.
Sylvia's
What?
servant?
Okay, Adam like
Adam's
disappears.
like about to die.
Adam does disappear. We never hear from Adam again. Did he die?
Poor Adam.
Remember, Sylvia's had a servant person that he was like talking with. He's just like, "Oh, you don't know love. You're too old." And he's just like, "Yeah, sure." And then whatever happened to him?
There's honestly a lot of
Corin's
characters.
that guy. Corin.
There's a lot of characters that literally just don't exist.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that could just be Shakespeare saying there are a lot of people that don't matter.
And then
They're just there. But
Yeah,
They're just there, but they don't do
They
anything.
speak their opinions, but they just don't matter.
They don't matter. Kind of
I
like.
think Corin actually knocked some sense into Sylvia's because Sylvia's was just all like, "Oh, I'm in love with Phoebe. You just can't understand." And Corin's was like, "I've been in love too. I've been in love too."
Yeah.
He's like, "You're old. You can't be in love."
Kind of like how people like
It's like
sometimes
there's like get your
like
ass
how
together.
people like they help people like a person that always is there for someone else, but assume like then when they're like fine, they don't come back and help the other person. Like he never goes back to Corin.
Yeah.
So Corin's just left there giving him good advice,
It's like
taking advantage.
taking
you know, like
advantage
the
of it.
main character always has like this companion who somehow like in most of his plays dies or is just like disappears out of nowhere.
Right, why do
Like
you
in
think that
Romeo and Juliet. What was?
Mercutio.
Yeah, he just dies. So like.
Kind of like his son. Died out of nowhere.
It's not out of nowhere. Tybalt killed him.
No, he means
We're talking about his son.
His son.
There's
But I
no
think
known reason for why he died.
He
So
could have died of a sickness, right? I thought it was sickness. I thought it was
and
sickness.
there wasn't like a lot of like help.
But it was very young age, so it was a very tragic incident.
I was gonna say when the plague really happened. Okay.
Let's talk about. Ooh, this is a good one, Tanika. How is Touchstone's behavior different when he's in company of the city and country, if any, if it is different?
Yes, two questions. I feel like in the country that he's less.
At Haley, are you alright?
He's less like I don't know. I feel like he's free in the country. Like I feel like he feels like he.
That's a point. Kevin, right?
Yeah, like
we're all
that's
free.
yeah,
We're
that's heaven. I feel like he feels like he can be himself.
Like he can do whatever he wants because now like
society
society isn't like set in the forest.
I also have an idea. Okay. I feel so Touchstone, he's like a fool, right? He's like I think he was like portrayed as a jester for the kingdom in the city, but then when you get to the country, he kind of has no purpose, right?
Well, then he just gives
That's
advice.
amazing, yeah.
Exactly.
Because in the country, he's not really known. He's not known for being the fool.
There's no like
He can be
set.
anyone he wants to
There's
be.
no set like society in the forest.
People still judge him with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was more.
He can.
He knows that they can't really judge him though because no one has any power because they're all in the forest and none of them have actual control.
They're all banished.
They're all banished and they're all living in a forest, so no one can judge him.
They're honestly having a lit time in the forest. They make do with what they
I
have.
would never go back to the town, in my opinion. That's a good question. Would you guys, if you guys were one of the characters that got banished, would you go back to the kingdom or would you stay in the forest?
Yes, I feel like I have.
I feel like I would go back to the kingdom.
I don't know because you have to hunt for your food first of all, which is doing a lot of work. And you just like go grab it in the city.
We get you a new
I mean, you have to go back to the kingdom.
No, but the thing is, it's kind of like that heaven. They're all living in a dream. It's just like it's nice to have a break, but like you have responsibility. It's not, kind of like
You don't have
YOLO.
holiday
You're
time.
gonna have to do responsibilities.
Yeah, it's kind of like summer break.
But the
You
thing is,
have fun.
I would like to have freedom every day. I don't want to go to school. We don't have to do any work. We can just live freely, just like do whatever we want.
I understand. I just feel like the other country's like nice and like chillaxing and all, but like it's a holiday. You have to come back to work after a while.
Kind of like winter break. Oh no, we have school afterwards.
Yeah, like you have fun.
To have no
you have
school.
responsibilities.
That'd be
In the
nice.
country.
You just have stuff to do.
I mean, if you were royalty, it would be kind of like appealing to be in the
For
city.
Touchstone, I feel like he was kind of not worshipped, but like he was accepted in the country because like Jacques wanted to be a fool also. So I feel like they kind of thought it was
cult.
Jacques and Touchstone.
Yeah. So like they thought
A game, the fool.
they thought it was like cool, I guess. Because Jacques was like, "You're a fool. That's cool."
Yeah, they
And he
meet.
wants to join.
Does anyone find it interesting how they are the ones who meet like first? Was that a coincidence or did he do that on like what? They meet first, right? Jacques meets Touchstone like alone.
Where's Jacques again?
But like, if
Jacques is the right hand man to do something.
But if you look at Jock, he's like a depressed person.
He kind of is iffy. He's a different
Yeah, but if you look at a Touchstone, he's not depressed. He's like always happy.
He makes like stupid jokes that we don't understand.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But apparently they're funny at that time.
And that could like represent how in the forest Touchstone is more important
Yeah.
and is on the same level as someone higher up in like
It sounds like he was kind of like
But
worshipped.
down to Touchstone.
But the thing is, do you feel like they did? I think Shakespeare like didn't want to think too much into that because the thing is, he married Audrey. She's not significant. She was a peasant woman. She was just like a farm shepherdess, not sheep herdess. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. And Orlando and Celia, or Roseline, are just like, we're royalty, worship us. And then Celia and Oliver is just like, we're second in line, worship us. And Sylvius and Phoebe are just like middle class.
But isn't Oliver's the king though, right?
Yeah, he's very important.
Yeah.
He's royalty.
So that's isn't it funny?
So Celia is
how
more important at the end.
Celia actually becomes more important because she actually married a king, and Rosaline's now just like with someone that's actually never gonna actually. I was like, wait, hold on a second. Sorry.
We're having so much fun. This is great.
That's so good.
So at the end,
Like she's
Celia,
actually like the best.
Celia at the end
What girl,
actually
Celia?
becomes the important one. Ching.
Like
Not to burst your
that she was
bubble.
actually
Wait.
the most important the whole time.
Hello.
The whole time.
Not to burst y'all's bubbles because I completely agree with that. I like Celia better than Rosaline. But Oliver gives up his kingdom. He's not a king anymore.
But
Not
still,
to burst your bubble, I love Celia.
no, but like she's still like technically one.
Yes.
And Rosaline.
She's a Dutch and Duke and Duchess.
And he's actually willing to give something up for her.
So
Orlando wasn't willing to give up anything.
Oh, so now you're backtracking and say Oliver actually loves Celia. So see, there's like lots of love and infatuation and
You know,
I don't know
who's in
so-
love anymore.
Exactly, right? It's just like so
well, that was a good way to end that. A big realization.
Yeah, it's big,
Okay.
big light bulbs. I love when we have big light bulbs. It's
I was
just
like, hold on.
it's just like
But technically, Celia could have actually been queen if she just would it be queen?
no.
If she
it-
waited for her dad to leave. When her dad died, whatever.
Oh
Then
yes,
we passed
because
down
Duke
to her.
Frederick was the ruler.
And she
Yeah.
gave that up for Rosalind.
And Rosaline was never actually going to be anything because her dad was banished.
She's pathetic.
But
She's
she,
really
but
good.
She's just Rosaline.
But Rosaline, I want to back up Rosaline. I like Celia Bohr, but Rosaline's father was a rightful heir.
He was.
He was a
but-
rightful heir.
He was, but he got banished, so I mean,
that.
it just kind of was like,
Whatever.
Rosaline. But yeah, Oliver was, you know, importante, and Orlando wasn't. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Rosaline. I like both of them. I like all the characters.
I like, yeah. Who's your favorite character? I want to know, y'all.
Celia.
In a heartbeat. Any other favorite characters?
I like Touchstone. in a way.
Touchstone.
I kind of
No,
like.
Audrey. I like Audrey.
I
I
cannot
love
deal with
her.
Phoebe.
I
I
love a
cannot.
good
I want to
peasant.
slap her so many times. It's just
Phoebe's
like, could
so
you
annoying.
not? She's so obnoxious.
Sylvia's is like a baby, and
She is.
Phoebe
Sylvia's
is
needs to
just
grow.
so unappreciative.
Sylvia needs to grow. Rosalind actually knocks some sense. He's just like, you're not. She's not worth it. Move on. It's just like, duh.
Yeah.
Any other
Phoebe
non-
thinks she's
We
too
need
cute
that.
for
We need
school.
that.
Yeah,
She's really not.
Guys, we have 2 minutes.
She's too cool for school.
Too cool for.
Well,
Okay.
thank you for
That was-
watching,
yes.
even though you probably didn't actually get through this part.
This was like the most funnest Socratic seminar.
Funnest.
Funny. You know what? I said that on purpose.
You got
Okay.
it.
Okay, bye, Mr. Woman.
Adios, Romac.
Adios, Mr. Woman. Au revoir.